Hello, you're welcome. It gives me great joy to notice you viewing this video today. I'm Dr. Olayinka Conley. I'm a lecturer in the university. I'm a sociologist. I'm a researcher. I'm a relationship manager. I'm a public speaker. On this channel, I do a number of stuffs, but all these stuffs I do is you can cluster them into four: sociology, research, relationship, and migration. If this is your first time of coming in contact with my channel, kindly subscribe, comment, like, and share as widely as possible. If you have subscribed previously to this channel, kindly stay tuned and comment, like, and share as frequently and as widely as possible. Today, I want to address a very important issue in the context of migration. How necessary is it to migrate or relocate abroad? How necessary is it to migrate or relocate abroad? This particular question is very important and it agitates the mind of so many people. Even those that have migrated sometimes have to ask themselves this question again. And those that we categorize as intending migrants continue to ask this question and look for answers. I've listened to so many people who have asked these questions repeatedly, and that's why I decided to make this video. The decision to make this video was actually influenced by a number of issues. My interaction with people, migrants across different places, research, and a number of engagements. So I decided to put this in this video so that people can have access to it. As they're struggling to make decisions to migrate, or they have migrated, they are looking for an answer. So I will answer this question with a number of other questions. This is very important. And it's a question that you must answer before you move, before you migrate or relocate. And the question you must continue to answer even after you have migrated. But you should be very honest with yourself. Be honest and answer the question, should I have migrated in the first instance? And you have to continue to depend on a number of channels of information to answer this question appropriately. And especially because of so many stories of woes, conflicting stories on social media and from migrants abroad, so many stories of woes, of success. Also, people tend to be confused because of so much conflicting information, pieces of information and information overload at the same time. So the very first answer to this question is that it depends on your peculiar situation. You have to be peculiar in terms of answering this question. You must zero in on yourself, particularly. How does this affect me? How will it affect me? Migration or relocation abroad, how will it affect my network? That's number one. Consider your peculiar situation. People go through a number of things. A number of people are going through different situations that determine their migration course, migration decision making. So, but you must answer a question. What are you doing in your current country of origin? Or what were you doing in your country of origin before migrating? That is, if you have migrated. If you have not migrated, you are in the group of people we call intending migrants. You want to migrate. What are you currently doing? What's your career trajectory? How buoyant are you? Is very important. You must look at what you are doing at the moment. Is it promising? Is the future promising? Are you earning well? Do you have stable income that can sustain you? Do you have more opportunities around you? So you have to consider what you are doing at the moment. So what are you doing at your current country of origin? It's very important. What kind of job, what kind of business are you running? And what kind of job are you doing? And how liquid, how successful, and what's the future outlook? Then how well are you doing in these places? And again, what's your career outlook? And where are you going? Which country particularly are you traveling to? Do you have sufficient information? Be guided. Nobody must travel on the account of a migration wagon, relocation wagon. Because you can't rely on everybody is doing it, so I have to do it. Don't be pestered. Don't be pressured to migration. It sometimes can be a journey of no return. can journey into disaster and people can journey into success. So don't follow migration wagon, what we call migration wagon or relocation wagon. So you don't migrate into self-imposed slavery. I did a video on how not to migrate into modern slavery abroad. I did a video on what you must consider before you migrate. I did a video on how to migrate into eternal fortune abroad. So I've done different videos on migration. So you can't just follow bandwagon or what I call migration wagon or relocation wagon. Don't be pressured. I've heard people say, well, it's the way people are migrating en mass because migration is now phenomenal. It's as if I'm not taking my life seriously because I'm not migrating. No, your peculiar situation is what must guide you so that you don't migrate into. So which country are you going? What are the prospects in that country? Is it because everybody is going there? No, you don't follow because everybody is going there. Research into it. And what are you going to do there? Why are you going to that particular country? Is it because you have existing network there? Have you verified all the pieces of information you've heard about that place? Have you confirmed? Meanwhile, you must do your research very well about that country. What's the racism portfolio? What are the job opportunities? And I did a video on how to deal with racism abroad, how to deal with loneliness abroad. These are different videos you can also watch. So what is the success profile of that particular country? Why are you going there? What about language barrier? What about culture shock? Meanwhile, and you must do research extensively. But as you are doing your research, it's good you are watching this video. I'm sure it's part of your research. And you must also listen to people who are abroad. But please, as you are listening to people who are abroad, be open. When they see that you are open, they will tell you the truth. But if you are querying, if you are desperate, if they see that you don't want to get information, you have your mind made up, they'll just be looking at you. They won't give you the truth. The true information about the place. So, and when you want to investigate from people abroad, make sure you don't listen to those people who just relocated. Please don't. Those ones, they have not turned the migration cycle. They don't have sufficient experience. Most of them are still in the state of euphoria. They're still enjoying the fact that they've been able to achieve their relocation goal by moving, sometimes with their family. No, don't listen to those ones. Listen to those ones who have been there between 10 and 25 years. Those ones are likely to have turned the migration cycle. So they will have completely passed through some important phases. So, but if you have those people who just migrated between 0 months to 5 years, they have not really settled. They have not been integrated. So you don't rely on it. You can get pieces of information from them, but don't make your fundamental decision based on those ones. Your fundamental decisions should be made, more importantly, based on information from those that have spent between 10 and 25 years. Then the longer they have stayed there, the better. So make it 10 to 45 or more, but don't base your judgment on those ones who are just between 0 and 5 years. That's still little. You're not likely to get full picture of the place. But by the time you talk to people between 10 years and maybe 45, 50 years, you're going to get more important information. And why are you going there? Are you going to study? Are you going for family relocation? Are you going for education? Are you study? Are you going because of work permit or global talent visa or care visa or other kind of visas or family reunion? Why are you going? On what basis? Please don't. Are you a tourist? When you are a tourist or a visitor, we don't consider you as a migrant. Before you are considered as a migrant, you must be willing to stay or have stayed between not less than 6 months across the definite boundary. So if you stay 6 months and more, then you're a migrant. So if you are going with a visit visa, you are not a migrant. You are considered a tourist and you are expected to return. And if you go with visit visa and you become illegal immigrant there, it's a lot of problem. Don't do that. I did a video on how to migrate legally. You can watch that video too. So don't do, maybe you are now going for visit visa, you want to go and stay there. No, then you have to ask yourself, can you truly afford it? If you are going for study, can you truly afford it? Do you have enough money? Do you have scholarship to do? I did a video on how to win scholarship and study abroad. So are you going on scholarship? Is the best option if you want to go and study. But migration is very expensive now. So you consider all the expenses you have to incur. Very expensive. So can you really afford it? Are you sure you can afford it? So you have to count the cost. So it's very important. So be research well, be honest, ask experienced people. Don't be adamant and don't be desperate. It's very dangerous to be desperate, and bear in mind that migration is not the only way to survive. It's not the only way to succeed. There are different routes to success. So if you must migrate, know fully well that it's not the only way. So don't need to be desperate. It's very important. Research very well and do all of this. There are many advantages if you want to relocate abroad. Why not? I don't discourage you. Yes, I don't want to encourage you unnecessarily. What I want to do is to give you pieces of information to build your capacity so you can make informed decisions. Advantages of traveling abroad or relocating is very important. You have flexible job markets, more jobs, organized systems, stable system, good health system, good social services, and equality, education, predictable system. Then you can make money and send money home, education, future of your children, education. Well, all these are advantages. But you must be aware that there are also disadvantages. Because of massive migration and relocation abroad now, those developed countries are also experiencing overcrowding now. Too many people have gone there. So job opportunities are getting very lean by the day. You have to bear this in mind. So they now have crowding in their job market, in the economic market. They have congestion in their system. Now you also have a lot of systemic impediments or hindrances that migrants now go through. And you must bear in mind the cost of living is very high. Most likely to be higher than your home country. Very high. So you may, sometimes if you are not careful, it may be challenging to even break even. Be aware that tax is also very high. When they tell you you're going to be earning thousands of dollars in a month, thousands of dollars in a year, be aware that sometimes as much as 40% of that money will go for tax. As much as another 40% will go for accommodation. So you may have the remaining 20%, 50% may go for groceries. So you may not have, it's not easy to save in those places. Cost of living is high, taxation is high, and a lot of other systemic issues. Unemployment is also increasing in those places. And also, you must be careful not to be trafficked. Human trafficking is also very high through those corridors. So I've done a lot of researches on migration. I've migrated across places myself. Done researches. I also still mentor a lot of migrants across the world, and I still move around a lot. So all I've told you in this video, please take it very seriously. Take all of them very seriously and be well guided. So I'll give you the positive advantages of migration, some disadvantages of migration, and the questions you must answer. But generally speaking, if you ask me, well, migration is not a problem. If you answer all these questions, you consider the advantages and disadvantages, and you feel, well, you still want to migrate. Why not? You can migrate. Migration can be necessary. Also, if you are persecuted, if you are going through persecution, if your life is a threat, is under threat, and if you find it very difficult to survive in your country, maybe economically, if you can pull together and you pull it through, there are opportunities are abroad. But you must bear in mind that it's not compulsory that you migrate or relocate. There might be opportunity around you where you are in your own country. So look around very well. Don't lock up and say it must be migration. It's not the only way to success. Relocation is not the only way to success. So answer these questions effectively. But if you cannot answer these questions affirmatively, then you must be careful. You may have to stay back. But if you answer them in the positive, well, I wish you well. So relocation may be necessary. But if you cannot answer them objectively, fairly, and honestly, and you feel, well, I'm still doubting, then you have to be very careful. It may not be necessary to relocate. But I do sincerely wish you well, depending on the outcome of your analysis. So migration is good, but it calls for caution. I wish you well. Until I see you in my next video, please be your best.